What is up? We are live. I'm starting a little bit early, like a couple seconds early. I'm gonna wait just a couple seconds to get people on the stream. I had someone ask me earlier, do you do live streams even though you know no one is watching? Yeah, yeah. It's good for me. I think it is a little bit more, I don't know. I just feel like it's a little bit more personal between the two of us. So even for people who are watching afterwards, it's kind of a fun thing to watch. I enjoy watching live streams. So that's why I do it. Regardless of if people watch you and what you do it anyway. And that's a good principle to live by. So that's why I do it. That's why I do live streams. Hey, if you are just visiting the channel and you don't know who I am, hi, my name is Katie. And on this channel, yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff. But more importantly, we talk about how to become a more powerful storyteller, how to become a better communicator using video. Now, video is such a powerful tool, and I've been using it for over 10 years. And I've just been able to see how it can impact people and how it can be used to share stories all around the globe, all around the world. I'm doing a really cool project with a bunch of people around the world right now. I've got the link down in the description, so if you want to go check that out. It's called Apart But United, and it's a really cool group, and it's just one of those things that makes me realize how powerful video is. So if any of the stuff that I do and any stuff I talk about interests you, hit that subscribe button. Love to have you on board, part of the fam here. We do all sorts of things. We do product reviews, we do advice, how-tos for communication and public speaking, as well as motivational content to get you going. Now, today is going to be super chill. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the principles of good planning and good scheduling. And I'm going to be using the schedule that I've showed you guys. Like in the last video, I talked about planning and scheduling. I'm going to be using this as a reference, but realistically, I'm going to be talking just about the principles. I'm not going to be saying like my schedule is the best schedule, because I would heartily disagree. I'm sure that I'm going to find a schedule that is way better in the future. This is just something that works really well for me now. And I know some people personally who just make lists. That's all they do. They just make lists. That's awesome. If you can do what you need to do by using a list, that's amazing. I do what works for me, you do what works for you. But how do you know what will work for you? Well, that's kind of a hard question to ask, because everybody has to play with it themselves. Everybody has to find what works for them. But here are some things to think about when trying to find a good scheduling system, a good planner. Here are some questions that you can ask, and here are some things that can help you kind of determine if your planner is actually working for you or if you are working for your planner. I say that because a lot of my life, I have picked up planners and been like, okay, I'm going to do this because like this is good to do, right? But it's not actually helping me out. I'm just doing it as like a hobby or a creative thing. And so the schedule that I have right now is really working for me because a lot of the things I do are self-initiated. They're not things that people are like, hey, do you have that thing done yet? Obviously, I have a job. I have a part-time job. So those things, people depend on me. But most of the things that I do in life are things that if I don't do them, then I'm the one that's going to suffer, not anyone else. If I stop doing YouTube tomorrow, probably no one would care. Like, seriously, probably no one would care except for me. And that's okay, because that holds me accountable. I have to hold myself accountable. I have to be responsible for my time. That's kind of how I want it, I guess. So let me show you a really quick look at my my schedule. I showed this in a video, I don't know, last week. I showed this in a video last week, and I got some comments that were like, whoa, look at your schedule. This is crazy. And I think people can assume that my schedule is like ridiculous and that I don't even sleep, right? I sleep great, guys. It's all good. But I wanted to use this as an example for my first point. Talking about good schedules, and this may be a bad schedule for you, maybe looking at this like there's no way. But for me, one of the things that I really need is structure. I think there are two main things that you need 2 or 3 main things that you need. Let me pull up my notes really quick. There are 2 or 3 main things that you're going to need for a good schedule, okay? And this is going to look different for different people, right? This is going to be different for different people. But what can help determine what is going to be a good schedule for you is asking these questions, is looking at these things and saying, does this work for me? Does this work out? Do these 3 things apply to whatever schedule or planner that I am using? So the first thing that really needs to do is, whether you're making lists or you're putting things on calendars or whatever you're doing, maybe you're writing little note cards, maybe you're putting things on sticky notes places, like whatever you're doing to be productive and schedule your time, you need to be able to ask yourself this question. And then that's this: what needs to get done first? What has to get done? What is most important in my life? And those are the things that you need to prioritize. I've got lots of things going on in my life. I got a YouTube channel. I'm starting my own business. I've got my part-time job. I've got like ministry things. Like I'm all over the place, people. But I don't have to do all of those things. Those are choices. Those are decisions that I make. And so I have to decide what is going to be most important. What is going to be vital for productivity, for actually getting the absolute necessary things that I need to get done. So you have to ask that first question, which is, what has to get done? But on top of that, like a schedule also has to have flexibility and structure. You have to not only have a schedule that can work with your life and things changing, but you also have to have some structure to help get things done, right? And so this is something that has been really important in my life, because all of the things that I'm doing, most of the things that I'm doing are things that I am accountable for, and only me. And so those are things that, I have to have enough structure in my life to be able to maintain those things. I can't just be like writing lists and doing crazy stuff. I have to like plan things out more detailed. And that's not the same for everyone. If you're watching the live stream right now, comment down below and tell me, what is your biggest struggle when it comes to planning? I'd love to know, because I think we all have different struggles, and that's why we pick different kinds of scheduling things, different kinds of planners. But if you ask yourself the question, what actually needs to get done, then you're going to know what to put on your calendar. And if you're looking for a system that gives you flexibility and structure, then you're going to be finding something that works for you, not you working for your calendar or your planner. I think the final thing, and I kind of talked about this in my last video, but that's this: planning is supposed to change. Like your planner, your schedule, it's supposed to change because you're changing. What you need to do is changing. Your life, what it looks like, is changing. Like, it's good that change happens to your schedule. And that is something that's really hard for me, you maybe. That's a really hard thing to kind of get past. We want our schedule to look as beautiful as a piece of art. But the deal is, if planners are actually going to work, they're going to be messy. They're going to constantly be changing. There's going to be things that overlap. There's going to be things that, blank spaces of time that you're like, I don't even know what I did in that time. So those are some of the things that can get in the way of actually being productive. But something that's really important to be thinking about when actually planning for the sake of productivity and not for the sake of beautifulness or self-image is that planners are supposed to help you, are supposed to aid you in life, are supposed to keep you productive and getting things done and succeeding. Why? Because you want to be a better person, because you want to be there for people who need you, because you want to grow. Those should be the reasons why we even have planners. And I think that's where it falls short. Anyone can take a really good system, a really good calendar, schedule, planner, whatever you want to call it. Anyone can take a good system and make it bad. They can use it in the wrong way. They can be having a planner or a schedule because they want to look busier, because they're having problems with self-esteem. Like, anyone can take something and not use it the way that it should be, therefore making it a bad system. So do what works for you and be doing it for the right reasons. I wanted to show you really quickly how I use this schedule, because I had a couple questions about this, and I wanted to address those questions. I thought that they were really good questions. Someone asked in my comments on my last video, hey, I'd never thought about this system, and you kind of brought up discussion about underscheduling versus overscheduling. And I got some other comments that were similar to that, talking about like, whoa, this looks really busy. I could never maintain this. But here's the deal. This calendar is a reference. It's a default. It's a guideline. That's what I use it for. Things change. Do I do all of these things every day? No, there are gaps. There are overlaps. Sometimes I never get to research during the day. Sometimes it's a full day of production. Sometimes I don't even have lunch. Like different days look very, very different. And there are some days where I have complete blanks. I'm just shutting this down. We're done. Okay. So I want to stress that this is a guideline. This is a default. This is the things that I could be doing. This is something that I would recommend to you if you are struggling with coming up with, let me move this over. Yeah, there we go. This is something I would recommend to you if you're struggling with trying to make a schedule that actually is what you need to do and not what you would like to do. Because one of the syndromes, one of the bad things about making lists is we can put way too much on our list for a day, and then we feel overwhelmed, like we failed, instead of, no, we accomplished those 3 things. Comment in the chat, like, tell me in the live chat if this is you. Do you over expect? Like, do you write too many things in your list and like, what, and then you feel like, I'm a loser. I couldn't complete all of these things, right? One of the easy ways to kind of combat that is to make sure you're asking that question, like, what actually needs to get done? What do I actually need to do today? And then filling everything in. The things I have in this schedule are purely things that I would like to do. They're things that I would like to accomplish because I have things coming up. I'd like to stay ahead. I'd like to not be editing every day, all day. And so when we look at this calendar, there are only a few things in here that actually have to get done. We've got work. Well, that's got to get done. I got assignments. I got things. That is something that actually happens during the day. We've got routines in the morning that always happen. Family time, dinner, that always happens. But everything in between that is just things that I could be doing, making videos, doing production, doing business things, doing client things. They're all things that I could be doing that day. And so one of the best principles of like good planning and good scheduling is just determining what you need to do and what you would like to do, and then delegating those things out in a reasonable way. That's just planning. That's scheduling. And whatever system you use, whether it's, blocking things out using the blocking system like I do, whether that's writing a list, whatever you want to do, it needs to accomplish those few things. So let's review those really quick. You've got to have a planning system that gives you flexibility and structure. You got to be able to move things around and make it flexible, but also have some structure to your day. You've got to be able to, ask the question, what needs to get done? What absolutely needs to get done? That's going to help you determine what you absolutely have to do and what you don't need to do that day. And also, you've got to be able to come to terms with the fact that things change. Life happens. That's okay. That's great. And so right now, this system is working really well for me, but maybe in the next couple of years, I'm going to be like, no way, I can't do this ever again. Before I end this live stream, I did a little bit of a experiment this week because I knew this live stream was coming up, and I was like, I wonder if my schedule, just for experimental purposes, I wonder if my schedule is like this thing that I just do, but can I do the things? Can I function without it? So I didn't look at my schedule once this week. Like once. I didn't look at it at all this week, and it's already Friday. And I didn't get a lot done this week. There were a lot of those things that I could be doing, that I should be doing, that didn't get done. I didn't batch record, which I should have this week. I didn't do a bunch of research for videos. Guess why I'm doing a no, guys, live streams, you have to research a lot. I didn't get a lot of research done. I didn't get a lot of SEO searching, like studying class done. And so one of the benefits of having a little bit more structure to your schedule is that it tells you what you could be doing if you have time. I used to get really bored, even though I'd have like a billion things to do. When I was like younger, I would be like, I don't know what to do. And that's just because I didn't make a list of things that I could be doing. So think about these things when you're making a schedule. I don't care what system you use, and I may be revisiting the system. I revisit it every month, basically, try to find something else. I'm watching lots of productivity videos and analyzing my systems to make them the best that I can so that I am the most productive and the most happy. It's a balance, right? It's a juggling act. Um, do what works for you. These are recommendations, suggestions. I hope that you got some value out of this, that you can find some things that will help you determine not only what schedule you're going to have, what kind of planner system you're going to have, but then two, also what to look for and how to actually refine your system, how to refine what you're actually doing, tweak it, make it work for you. Those are the things we're talking about today. And hey, if you got some value out of this, if you like the content, if you want more, then hit that subscribe button because all the rest of my videos that I have are going to show up after that. Down in the description below, I've got the link to the previous video where I was talking about my planner. That will give you a little bit more context to this video. And I also have some other really great resources down below. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you on the next video.